Welcome, movie fans. Thank you for joining us for episode 76 of Reading Between the Reels. If you're a new listener, we're so glad you found us. If you've been enjoying the show, please tell someone about us. Send a tweet, post to Facebook, write a review in your favorite podcast catcher, or just recommend the show to a friend. I'm Craig Dickinson, and I'm joined as always by my co-hosts Corey Heichman, Justin Eldon. What's up, fellas? How we doing?
What's up? We're back.
I'm not going to match that enthusiasm, but hello.
Try and get it there. Yeah, we're back. Today on the show, we're discussing our top 5 most anticipated movies currently scheduled for this upcoming 2023-2024 school year. So some of these will possibly not be released during this 9-month period, but we're hopeful that they will be because we're excited for them, even if they do get moved.
Yeah, I think that's going to pose a problem there. I think we're going to see I think that's the reason we're getting a lot of re-releases. Is that right? Did I heard that? They're re-releasing some movies out into the theaters now because theaters need some go-to cash.
Yeah.
Hey,
Makes
I'm
sense.
okay with that. A second chance to see something on the big screen, that's great.
For example, Top Gun, Mission Impossible coming back out if you want to go watch those.
Oh, I haven't heard that. That's nice.
Spoiler alert, Mission Impossible is a 2-parter.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen to our last episode.
So is Top Gun if you want to go down that road. But
Ooh,
Yeah.
I could go down that road. I would love it. There's a fan theory.
Yeah, I read something today. Batman Day is, I think, September 17th, and Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is going to be released in theaters. I don't know if it's going to be anywhere near us, but
wow,
I would love to see all those again in the big.
That's not bad for a second place Batman movie trilogy. I went there.
Yeah, he did. But Batfleck didn't get his solo movie.
Oh yeah.
Still. Okay.
All right.
We're not talking about that, though, because that is not coming. We know for sure that's not coming. But we're going to talk about our top 5, like I said, most anticipated movies for this upcoming school year. It's 2023. So basically anything that's released from September through, I think I had middle of June, late June, somewhere in there. So, Justin, I'm going to start with you. What is one of yours?
Oh, okay. I'm so ready for this. And if this isn't on your list, I'm going to be deeply offended. Taylor Swift Eras Tour, the film.
I knew he was a Swiftie.
Okay. There you go.
I absolutely am, and I'm sure I'll have many people tell me that I'm not a true Swiftie because, well, I guess there's levels of it. I've told there's like a Swiftie and then there's a Swiftologist. I am not a Swiftologist. I just enjoy Taylor Swift's music. I don't think we have any shared life experience, but it's good stuff, and I'm excited to see it in theaters. So that's out there in the world.
Okay.
All
Justin
right.
expanding our demographic just like that. Nice job.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. That's not on my list.
What?
No.
That's
sorry.
No.
I mean, the ticket pre-sales beat Star Wars Episode 7, so...
Well, that's quite a following. I got to admit it.
That is impressive.
Most impressive.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, nice. Corey, what about you?
All right, here we go. Going for a new, since this will come out right here in September. Equalizer 3 with Denzel. I absolutely love anything with Denzel Washington, and I am on board with Denzel. Equalizer 1 and 2 were absolutely fantastic. Pedro Pascal was in. Equalizer 2 was a great villain against Denzel's hero. But this movie, it's dark. It's kind of a John Wick type believability sometimes, but it is absolutely great. Great parts in his confidence, his action movie approach. I think I've loved Denzel ever since I saw him for the first time in Virtuosity with Russell Crowe. So anything with Denzel, I'm on board with. And so the Equalizer franchise, I think this will be great. So I have no idea how this movie ends. I'm staying away from my spoilers, like usual. If it ends with a sequel, I will be upset. But I also don't want him to die in the end of this movie. So
yeah.
The character or the actor? Because he's getting rather old.
Hey, the character.
Okay.
The actor's going to live forever. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He is interviews with him is amazing. He's quite a wise person.
How old is Denzel? Let's ask the Googles.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I want to check with you guys real fast. Are your lists in any kind of order? Like, this is my least anticipated to most anticipated. Are they chronological? Are they just random? Like, not that it matters, but I'm just out of curiosity.
I didn't rank mine, I guess, 1 through 5 this time. So I'm just kind of, these are 5 that I've got on here. I've actually got about 6 or 7, and I'm going to punt on a couple, Craig, just depending on what you guys throw out here. So I'm not going 1 through 5. I'm just going to go one of my top 5.
Okay. I had mine in chronological, but then one of them got bumped. And so I'm going to start with the first one that's coming out is actually, Justin, did you get that age of Denzel Washington?
Oh, 68.
Still. Oh, 68. Yeah. He's not
action star at 68.
That's impressive. What are we doing with our lives?
I mean, is he in the Expendables? I think if you're that old, contractually, you have to make an appearance in the Expendables.
If there's a 5th one, I think he would have to be.
Yeah.
There's a 4th one.
That's impressive. Okay, that's Expendables 4 is not on my list. But what is on my list is The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Hunger Games books, less so the movies. I enjoyed the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th ones quite a bit. Francis Lawrence took over. I thought those were much better films. But I really enjoyed this book as well. I really like how I guess it's not a spoiler, how it's basically telling President Snow's origin story. And it makes this horrible, evil character into a sympathetic person. There's a lot of background information talking about how the Hunger Games came about, and lots of intrigue. And I think if it's done well, which everything looks like it has potential to be that. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That was actually on my list too. I over the summer watched all the Hunger Games again with my wife. I hadn't seen them in probably 5 years or so. And I'm super excited for that one. It'll be great.
I have it as an honorable mention.
Okay.
I was expecting, I think that's one of those movies I think my son's really going to want to go see it. I'll definitely go see it in the theater because of that. I wouldn't put it in my eager to go to. I like those movies. They're great series, but yeah.
Nice.
Good pick. Solid pick, Craig. Solid
Thank
pick.
you. And that's also, I just wanted to double check, that's also Francis Lawrence. So that bodes well too. You know, Francis Lawrence, who of course gave us I Am Legend and Constantine and several other things, but I like his work. So, Justin, what about you? Another film you're looking forward to?
Well, that was my next one, but I'll skip it. I think Napoleon I'm quite excited for.
Mm-hmm.
I really like biopics, as well as Joaquin Phoenix is so good. Yeah, that one just looks like it's gonna be really well made, and I somehow have to find a very legal way to watch that on Apple TV.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Because it's Ridley Scott too, so we've kind of reached the point where Ridley Scott's just kind of cranking out good movie after good movie.
Yeah, it looks like he put a lot of work into it. It looks like there's a pretty high budget for it, but I just have to justify that Apple TV subscription somehow.
So Ridley Scott reuniting with Joaquin Phoenix, that's Gladiator, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there's some history with these two.
Yeah. And Apple TV, if you're listening, Justin would like a free subscription.
Yes.
I mean, we'd all probably like one.
Complimentary. Comp him up.
You can go back and watch Ted Lasso too.
Oh.
So good. Corey, what about you?
All right. I'm going to go with, since you went Ridley Scott, I'm going to go with my next one here because normally I would pick a movie based on the content. I would pick a movie based on the actor. This time I'm going to pick a movie based on the director because of the conversations we've had where you start noticing how people direct things, how their take on cameras, angles, shots, all this. And so I am a fan of this director, Craig, as you might know.
Mm-hmm.
Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon Part 1. It's coming out December 22nd, 2023 on Netflix. And this is Zack Snyder's next project for Netflix is a space epic based on the original story of Snyder's own making. So, centers on a peaceful colony who, threatened by a tyrant, sent a young woman to a neighboring planet to recruit an army. Sounds like a great one. I think I'm going to like it. I love so many things that Zack Snyder has done, and I would just Going to add this one to the list, I hope.
Yeah, that is my number 4. Also, Rebel Moon.
Oh.
It looks spectacular, and yes, if it's Zack Snyder, it's going to get first look from me for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm trying something with Rebel Moon. I know. Okay, so I love spoilers. Like, I will seek out a spoiler before I see a movie, and I know that is painful for some people, but I like spoilers.
Hurts me.
And I'm trying something new with Rebel Moon. I literally know nothing about it, and I'm trying to, like, I'm not going to read any headlines. Well, I'm going to read some headlines. Not going to watch any trailers. I'm just going to go in completely blind. So I did take off my headphones while you two were just talking about that.
Okay.
Because I'm doing an experiment, see if I enjoy the movie more.
Sure. So just to confirm, you've not seen the trailer.
I have not seen the trailer. I've intentionally not watched it.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
For
it's like
a while,
social experiment.
I thought it might have been like a Star Wars movie. Like, I thought it might have been like a Rogue One style. Turns out it's not in the Star Wars universe. But that's what I get for not reading anything about it.
Yeah. Well, so this is not a spoiler, but you're not wrong in that it looks like it's a Star Wars thing. It's from my understanding is that he pitched to Lucasfilm this idea. This was going to be a Star Wars film, and then it was retrofitted into his own thing.
Well, I mean, the only thing I know about it is the title, Rebel Moon, and both of those are like Star Wars words.
Exactly. Yep.
I will say, I'm going to know this heading into it. It says part 1 in the title. So I'm assuming it's going to end with some kind of a to be continued, and I'm going to, in the theater, go, what? And be all upset.
Yeah, the end of the trailer, this is not a spoiler. The end of the trailer has the 2 release dates.
Gosh darn it. Yeah.
So it's like part 1 coming here, and there's subtitles for them. I don't remember what they are off the top
have
of my head.
not watched the trailer for it. So
it's posted in our Facebook group, so that's probably why it doesn't have any comments. But stay away from that. It's if you want to be spoiler free.
Yes.
I was impressed. It's right up there with the best of what Zack Snyder has done. So
and that is direct to Netflix? Is that one of those?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that was mine. So I guess we're back to you again, Justin.
Okay. The next one on my list, I was actually anticipating Craig say. I'll leave it for him, but because I know he's going to say it later. My next one would be Inside Out 2. Apparently, is coming out. I don't know why you're laughing at me.
It's not on my list.
No. I skipped the one that I thought would be on.
Oh,
your
gotcha.
list.
Okay. Oh, perfect. I misunderstood.
No, Inside Out is a movie that my daughter watched on repeat over and over and over, like just for a solid 3 months. I saw it probably at least once a day. So the first one has like a special place in my heart. The layers to that movie, it's so deep. There's so much going on with it. And at the time my daughter was watching the first one, I was going through like a lot of child development courses for my undergrad. And like everything in my classes, like I would relate to Inside Out. Like there's a lot in that movie that just really makes sense in terms of like a emotional developmental for children sort of way. Anyway, it was awesome. I'm really excited for the second one.
Nice. That's a movie that's grown on me. I didn't really like it the first time I saw it, but I've come to appreciate it for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that you tear up in, I think, if you have kids too, where you kind of get to know a little bit of what's behind kids, and some of the emotions they go through. And I don't know, as a father, I remember watching that the first time and kind of tearing up a couple times. Doc got it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and just like all that stuff that the protagonist, Riley, I think her name is.
Yeah.
All of that stuff she goes through, and it seems like traumatic. But then you realize, probably every adolescent goes through that at some point where her islands are dropping and being replaced by new islands and her core memories are being replaced. It's like, that probably happens to all of us.
Mm-hmm. Bing bong, man. Bing bong.
Oh, and then when
Rest
Bing
in
Bong
peace.
dies. Yeah.
Oh, man. R.I.P., dude.
Yep. Okay. Corey.
All right. I'm going to go in the theme of Justin here.
Taylor Swift?
Not quite Taylor Swift. No, I don't think so. I'm going to go with this franchise. This franchise has been a favorite, and this is a different series. Okay, I talked about a director that I liked. Okay, Rebel Moon. Now I'm going to go with a movie that I can take all my kids to, or that I can take my youngest to the theater to get that theater experience because we love it so much. Mike Mitchell coming back to direct Kung Fu Panda 4.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
And
Nice,
I'm
Paul.
excited. March 8th, 2024. I love it. And I love the description. Jack Black voices a fat panda who does martial arts.
They're not wrong.
Is that just the best? He's a panda. You're a panda. I just love that movie. I love everything in there. They have had some tremendous lessons that you walk out with and you go, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. I teared up in the last one when he's the Kung Fu or the Dragon Warrior. And I mean, it's a movie that is meant to get a couple tears out of parents that are watching it with their kids. And I think their whole premise for everything they've done through this whole trilogy has been amazing.
Yeah, I need to revisit those. It's been a while since I've seen them, but I know I loved them all.
I think I'm going to take issue with Jack Black plays a fat panda. I think he's just a regular sized panda. Right?
It's true. He's not an overly fat panda.
You know, it's that vegetarian diet they have. It definitely gets them a little bit fat panda. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But
So good. Great example of hero's journey as well. That's what I like to talk about with my students, which always kind of comes out of left field. They're like, oh yeah, see, this is a movie that you've probably all seen and didn't even know that this was the thing we're talking about now. Oh.
There we go.
Awesome.
Solid pick.
Yeah, good job. My next one does not actually have a title yet. I have it listed as Untitled Ghostbusters Afterlife Sequel. There's a logo for it where we see the ghost in the circle and there's like it's like frozen or whatnot. And as of now, it's supposed to come out in March. It was supposed to come out like around Christmas season. But I love Ghostbusters Afterlife. I mean, I was a huge fan of Ghostbusters 84 and also Ghostbusters 2. And that Afterlife absolutely worked as a legacy sequel for me. I thought Paul Rudd was a great addition to that, as was McKenna Grace, who plays Egon's granddaughter. I thought she was fantastic. And I mean, it did the thing, and I don't want to put them down. We'll put them down on every opportunity we can, I guess. But the Star Wars sequel trilogy did not put your big three back together. And Ghostbusters Afterlife put the big four back together, and one of them had already passed away. So, that scene, speaking of like tearing up, like that's such a great scene. Just love that they bring them back. And this new one's supposed to, again, incorporate both new and young casts. So, looking forward to that.
Confession time, I haven't seen that one, Craig. I didn't watch it. I meant to watch it in the theater. It didn't. And then it went to streaming and I kind of was like, okay, I'm intending to watch it. I just have never sat down. However, that scene you're talking about with the three guys and then Ivan Reitman's ghost right there is a powerful scene. I remember
Egon's ghost. Yeah.
Egon's ghost, yeah. And seeing his ghost there. I remember seeing that on TikTok and watching that scene over and over because it was so powerful and resonated. And just Belta, I got to watch this movie. And so I haven't. I confess that. But
oh, my goodness.
I plan to, and I will definitely get it in when we go see that one. And because I think it's a great series and getting them back together.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Ivan Reitman, and this is another thing about that scene, too, is that this film is directed by Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son. And so you have that fathers and sons or fathers and daughters theme running through as well. So it's, in all the same ways that Kung Fu Panda hits you with, meets his dad and those things where you're dead inside if it doesn't make you feel at least a little something.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I highly recommend Corey, go check it out. I think you'll get a kick out of it. It is in some ways, as sometimes happens with legacy sequels, it's a little bit of a reboot, requel thing. Yeah. Right? There's definitely some elements that you're like, oh, this is member berries, but I still think it works. Justin.
I haven't seen the first one. So.
You haven't seen Ghostbusters 1984?
No. I'm sorry. I haven't seen the first of the legacy sequel reboot.
You didn't see Afterlife. Okay.
I didn't. There we go. I didn't see Afterlife. I need to.
Well, you got young kids too, so.
I have seen many times the original Ghostbusters. I've only seen the second one like 2 or 3 times though. I just know, like as a kid, that painting really creeped me out.
Yeah,
and it still kind of does as an adult.
He is Vigo.
Vigo. Yeah. Vigo is my school's namesake guy. Looks like Vigo. And
he does. John McLaughlin.
Scary. John McLaughlin is quite scary, and I have a picture of John McLaughlin in my room. and I swear it's a Vigo painting that the eyes follow you.
Oh, no way. I need to look this up now.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a creepy looking dude.
Yeah, John
He's a
McLaughlin.
creepy bloke. Okay, so Justin, what's your next film?
All right, so my next one, I don't know if I'm excited about it. I'm excited for the possibility for it.
Okay.
So I think it's just called Wonka with Timothée Chalamet.
Mm-hmm.
I have very much enjoyed the other two Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory films. They were fantastic. I thought the Johnny Depp one kind of was a little bit more true to the book than Gene Wilder, but they were both good in their own right. The Timothée Chalamet one looks awesome. Everything except for like Timothée Chalamet, like I can't see him as Wonka.
For the main guy.
Yeah, except for but everything else, it looks like lighthearted and jovial, but he just doesn't seem like he has enough whimsical, enough of a whimsical personality to like be that person. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. But I don't know. I'm excited to see. As a fan of the book and the other movies, yeah, give me more for sure.
That's a good pull. Yeah, Hugh Grant is a Oompa Loompa.
And it looks weird.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's supposed to be
CGI
weird.
On that looked very weird. That was released.
It could be unfinished too. Maybe it's not ready.
I hope so.
Like, I hope it's weird. If
Okay.
it's not weird, I'm going to be sad.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes
It's
they
real
release
dull.
that early, like they did with Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember they released that CGI, and then people
Yes.
hated it, and they went back and
So
revamped
great.
the whole character throughout the whole movie. There was a lot of guys I think stayed up till 3-4 a.m. for about a month straight just revamping all the CGI.
Yeah,
But
they released that trailer, and all the animators are just watching the comments. They're like, "Oh man, we're screwed, guys. We are screwed."
Dang it. Nice. Power of the internet. Corey, what's your next one?
Oh, a couple of these I got to save for honorable mentions. I'm going to go because, Craig, I'm pretty sure my number one here is going to be on your list. I'm so convinced that I'm not going to say it.
Oh, no, I think we're talking about the same one, Corey. This is probably the same one I didn't mention.
It's probably, yeah. So I'm going to go with this different one. Is this number 4 for me?
Yeah, this is 4.
Okay, if you don't mention this one, Craig, I'm going to have to take 6. So here we go. I'm going to go with At the End of September, directed by Gareth Edwards, starring John David Washington, the creator.
That's not on my list.
No. I know I'm going with this one because I think the
it
other
looks
one
great,
I've got.
though. Yeah.
I think this movie, I love these sci-fi epic stories. I love these thrillers where it's a future war between humans and artificial intelligence or humans and aliens. These are the kind of movies that get me from the beginning. I get that trailer. Sometimes I get in there and it gets a little bit too much. You bite off. There is a way to bite off more than you can chew on some of these movies. But this movie looks like an epic tale, kind of a Dune tale, long story, a lot of threads to pull. And so it all comes down to, I guess, how that CGI is going to look, how those characters are going to be developed throughout the whole story. You can only do so much backstory before you get lost, but it's just world building. And so I am excited with this, especially with the rise of AI. And I think this is a great epic tale to come out. And I think we're going to see a lot more of these type of movies coming out in the future.
Nice. Yeah, and John David Washington, I like him a lot. I loved him in Tenet, and he was really good at Amsterdam as well. I don't know, hasn't done a ton of things yet. Again, Denzel Washington's son. So that's
I did not know
great.
that.
Yes.
I love Denzel.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love his son too. That's great.
There are definitely times when I'm watching Tenet where it's like, wow, it sounds just like Denzel's talking.
I did not know that. This is
But
new
That's Gareth
information.
Edwards on the creator, the guy who at least started Rogue One. But yeah, it looks epic, like a movie I need to see in the movie theater.
Yes. I'll give him a shot.
Yep. All right, Justin, you're number 4.
I'm learning so
Actually,
much.
you're number 5 at this.
I have not heard of this.
5. I don't know. Was it mine? It's mine.
It's Craig's turn.
It's great.
It's my turn.
It's your number 4, Craig.
I'm trying to be a good host, and I'm sucking at it.
Craig, if
my
you
number-
don't say the one that we think you're going to say, there's going to be problems.
All right, well, we'll see. So my number 4 is Deadpool 3.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is amazing. I've loved him since Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, which is obscure, but go check it out. It's funny. Wolverine is back. Hugh Jackman's back. And there's rumors now that all kinds of crazy stuff's going to happen. I think Jennifer Garner's coming back as Elektra. I mean, everything's on the table. Like the 20th Century Fox Fantastic Four on the table. We might see Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Who knows what we might see? I wouldn't put anything past him. So looks hilarious. From the we haven't seen any footage of it. We've just seen the chemistry between those two actors, which we've seen online and in movies. So bring it. Let's have that. That's supposed to be due in May. So hopefully that stays at May 3rd.
So excited for this. Ever since the announcement, him and Hugh Jackman have a chemistry and a relationship you just cannot fake. You cannot define. And so I think these two, I absolutely would put this as my number one. Of all the movies that I do have, like I said, I didn't have a number one. This would have been my number one. There's no limit to what Ryan Reynolds will put in this movie. I just think if they came to him and said, he's like, I want to get Ben Affleck in there, I want Jennifer Garner in there. He'll touch every universe. He'll do it all.
Yeah,
so I think this is going to be great.
Justin, your thoughts?
Yeah, give me Wolverine in a yellow suit. Let's do it.
Yes, please. With the mask, please.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. A tasteful yellow suit. I want it to look good. You can't do yellow tastefully, but it looks like they're going to.
Yeah.
Okay. So my number one, not necessarily the one I'm most excited for, because this I don't think was in any particular order, but A Quiet Place, the prequel. That looks really good. I thought A Quiet Place was a fantastic film. I have not seen the second one yet. I'm actually going to watch it tonight. I downloaded it to watch it tonight.
Yeah, I like it.
And should be a good time. I really want to see that one in theaters. I understand that is a tricky one to see in theaters because the entire theater is dead silent.
Is it really?
Well, that's what I hear. So the story goes.
Confession time. I have seen none of the Quiet Place movies, and I have seen clips here and there, that have popped up on TikTok that people have spoiled, but I've only seen pieces, fragments, and I have absolutely meant to watch it. My son has watched it. It's like, Dad, this is a great show. And I intend to see that. I will definitely marathon that before I go see that.
It's definitely one that it's you know how you have those movies that you can watch while you're looking at things on your phone or something. No, you got to watch it on a TV. Yep. You got to devote some time to it because the atmosphere really matters.
Yeah, it's really, really well done. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you really can have it spoiled for you. I enjoyed both of them. I thought they're both really well done. Very, very creepy. Very effective.
John Krasinski wrote that first one?
And directed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of his
Did
project.
he intend this as a trilogy, or was this
I believe it was
other people?
Just going to be a one-off originally.
Okay.
And yeah, Emily Blunt, his real-life wife, plays his wife in the film as well. Okay, yeah, that's a good pull, Justin. I didn't have that one, but I'm glad we're having this discussion. Corey, what do you got next? What's your last one?
Oh, man, I got so many to pick from here. I'm going to go with this one here because I think this is unfinished business here. We're going to see where they're going. I have several superhero movie shows on here that I could easily go with that I'm going to leave off as just kind of honorable mentions. But this one I'm really looking forward to of the superhero world releases. Venom 3 coming out July of 2024.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's outside.
You
have to forgive him though, because it's outside the parameters. So he's okay.
Is it? Does this not count?
Well, it's after school gets out, unless we have 75 snow days.
Someone's still in school. This summer school's going on at this point.
Okay, that's fine. That's true.
Summer.
So I think the thing about Venom 3 that I'm looking forward to, with where they left off with that Venom plug at the end of the Spider-Man Far From Home. The last Spider-Man that came out with Tom Holland in the multiverse.
No Way Home.
So it's as if Venom is they're gonna bring something in here. They're gonna sneak something. They kept Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire silent for a year, so we know there's some sneakiness going on with this. I think that Venom's gonna end up in one of those universes. He's probably gonna end up in Andrew Garfield's universe, or they're gonna somehow relate it back. He can't just be in his own universe by himself and there's nobody else.
I don't think
So-
they're going to put any Spider-Man in there.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
They'd be stupid not to,
it's,
though.
Maybe it's because a couple
Right?
months ago I watched Morbius and it really just like let me down in the whole multiverse with Spider-Man villains thing. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic. Also, I really did not like Venom 2. I liked the first one. I did not like the second one.
I didn't like the second one either.
Oh man, but I feel like
I don't
there's
trust
more
Sony.
here. There's more here. Sony, because the slate of superhero movies coming out, I'm not excited about. All of these are just honorable mention lists. They're not anything that's got me jumping out of bed saying, oh my gosh, one more day until we can go see that in the movies.
It is interesting that none of us mentioned like a superhero. Did
Nope.
No one said a
I have one
superhero
on
movie?
my honorable mentioned, but no, it's fatigue is real, man.
Well, unless you count the Taylor Swift, like she's basically a superhero.
Real life superhero, just
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, it's my turn. Yes,
Yes, it is.
You better say it. Craig.
My last one is Dune Part 2.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
knew that was
love
coming.
the Dune books. I finished all of Frank Herbert's, and then I read the last two, which were adapted by his son. That happens later in the timeline. I haven't read the prequel stuff yet, but I loved Dune Part 1. Denis Villeneuve did an amazing job with that first film. And it ends in the middle, which is rough for people that hadn't read the book. But the second part of that book that this is going to adapt is such a great story. There's so much great things that happen. And I just can't wait to see how they bring it to life.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Confession time, Craig. I
Yep.
did not watch Dune Part 1. And I'm absolutely ashamed of that one because
Dude.
I have the HBO and I need to do it. And it is one of those movies. I'm flying back to the 70s, or when was that last one that came out when I saw it? And it was a snooze fest for me.
84. Yeah,
84.
David Lynch's. Yep.
It was a
Matt
snooze
and I covered
fest.
that one a little while back.
And I'm gonna throw this out there because Dune is one of those things. My brother, I was a sports kind of guy. My brother was a reader. He read a lot and everything, and watched movies and shows. And he's absolutely Craig. He could rival your knowledge as far as directors and actors and how they're all connected. But he used to read sci-fi, watch sci-fi all the time. And I attribute this to him. I think he's the one that got me to start liking these kinds of things, the sci-fi part, because I'd have to sit and he would tell me the plots of these books and stories. And Dune was one of the things that he absolutely loved. And so he loves that movie, the series, the book, everything. And so I owe it to watch it. I need to watch it. I'm definitely looking forward to Part 2. Did it get delayed?
It did. It was supposed to come out in November. I was sad about that. And that was actually, we already had that kind of scheduled to cover that for the show. So when Dune Part 2 comes out, we'll watch Dune Part 1 together and talk about that because there's so much to unpack. The cinematography is amazing. It's Hans Zimmer soundtrack. It's just good all around.
When Dune Part 1 came out, it just the release, not the actual story or cinematography or anything, but the release very much reminded me of Avatar, because I feel like Avatar came out and it was the coolest thing for about a month. Everyone talked about it. It was amazing. And then it dropped off the face of the earth and no one ever talked about it again. And I same thing with Dune Part 1. Came out, everyone loved it. And then it's like, where did it go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to put myself in the shoes of the normal film goer who had not read the books too. So, because for me, it was just like, yes, this is just the promise of more of that universe being fleshed out. And I've said this many, many times, but that my biggest compliment I can give Dune Part 1 is that it felt like the book.
Good.
I was just, this is what I would have done had I been able to make those choices. There's like one or two scenes that just random stuff that doesn't show up in I think some of it's in supplemental material. That you kind of like, oh, that's a memorable scene and it doesn't show up. You can't adapt every single thing, but
yeah, you always have something you have to leave off.
Yeah, but it felt like, yes, watching that movie felt like reading the book. So yeah,
I think what chases me off a little bit from movies like this sometimes is it's part 1, part 2. And so then I know I really mean that. And I mean it in a sincere place of respect. These are amazing epic tales and I know that I would like them, but part of me looks and says, I can't invest so much of my emotion and my time and then get now I got to wait to wrap this up for a year. I just can't do it. I need to know.
It's hard to keep that investment up for years, like that emotional hype.
Yeah.
You can't just keep that going. Which is
Well,
why, to me, it felt like Avatars, because everyone
Yeah.
was like so emotionally invested, and then it just dropped off. And I'm sure it'll come back. I'm sure we'll love it again.
Avatar.
Same with Avatar 2. Avatar 2
No,
came out.
it
Everyone's
did.
excited. Now
And it was huge again.
you never hear about it now.
I didn't like Avatar 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
but it was massively successful
Sully
anyway.
World.
It was the phenomenon again, which is pretty amazing since it was such a long delay between the two films. I will say this too, Corey, just to kind of prep you for Dune, that Dune is very much, it's Lord of the Rings in space.
Yeah.
Like that is the way you need to approach it, that it is that dense. There's a incredibly long history and cultures and all kinds of things. I mean, this is a book that has multiple appendices at the back of the book. It's got some vocabulary. It's got there's one called The Ecology of Dune. There's a whole
epic world.
It is the world building in this is intense, and I don't know if you necessarily have to have all of that to enjoy it.
You don't. I haven't read the books.
Okay, good, perfect. Yeah. But if you're familiar with those kind of things, then there's essentially Easter eggs. You're like, oh, that's the thing from the other thing.
Okay. So, yeah. Are the Beetlejuice worms kind of cool in this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shai Halud. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the sandworms, they're amazing. Which again, the Beetlejuice took that from Dune. Obviously, the book came out in the '60s, so several things. I mean, it influenced Star Wars too, the Sand Planet and its hero's journey, essentially. Although once you get to the end, you're going to see it's not quite hero's journey. It's got a lot more in common with Last Jedi, which is why I have less problem with the way Last Jedi went, because Dune Messiah kind of takes us that way. But that's a rabbit trail for sure. Okay, we're on to honorable mentions. So, Justin, do you have some films? You just go ahead, rapid fire. Any other ones that you're
we hit all my films.
Kind of excited. Okay,
yeah, we hit them all. That was my list.
Good. We didn't have a lot of crossover, so that's pretty cool.
We didn't.
Corey, I know you have some.
So here we go. I'm gonna go with. I've got 3. I'm just gonna rapid fire these names out there because I think I'd put these all in one category. Am I excited to see these? No. Will I go see these?
Are they being released? Yes.
Are they being released? And I'm like, okay, you're burning a little bit of credit and collateral with me. You know, some of these some of these theaters that are doing this kind of, or not the movie companies that are doing this. Mm-hmm. Aquaman 2. You know what? I don't know where you fit in after The Flash and after Henry Cavill, losing my Henry Cavill. I don't know where you fit in. Marvels. I guess I'm excited. Not excited, but I'm like, okay, I'll go see it.
No, not at all.
I think that would go straight to streaming, and I'd be fine with it. Captain America: Brave New World. I really like it. I just cannot get beyond the fact that Anthony Mackie doesn't have superpowers. I think he needs to take some serum, and then I'm like all in on Anthony Mackie. I love him. I think he is absolutely fantastic. I think him and the Winter Soldier have such chemistry that you can't tell me that there's not a movie or a series that if you put 2 of them together that they wouldn't be successful. But I just need him to have superpowers too.
And so maybe they'll fix another boat this time.
And so there it is, my honorable mentions. It's one category of I'm burned out a little bit and you need to bring me back.
Okay.
I feel like the
TV show reference.
The MCU and we had a good relationship, and then we kind of had a bit of a slow burn breakup. Then they need to court me again. They need to take me out to dinner. They need to convince me that they're worth my time.
I agree. That's me too.
It's true.
Yeah, I would say I have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom on my list as well. It is the last of the DCEU.
Yeah.
It's been delayed multiple times. Justin groaned audibly when we talked about this because Justin does not like Aquaman 1. But we're going to make him watch it again. Is there a way to
groan not audibly?
Well, that's true.
That's true. That's
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, but we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it together for the show because it's beautiful. I love Jason Momoa's take on the character. I had a great time at the movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a popcorn movie. Jason
Momoa is the only guy that could ever play that. Otherwise, Aquaman's getting made fun of.
He's fantastic. So I'm curious about this film. I like the first one. Like I said, at one point, Affleck was in the movie. At one point, Keaton was in the movie. Who knows if any of that exists anymore, because it really is just going to kind of be just the final little button on all of those things. Where does it fit in the timeline? I don't know.
I don't care.
So it is. Yeah, Justin doesn't care.
That's where the hype falls off. It's a what's the point movie.
Yep, it is. It is more so than any of the other ones. But like I said, I enjoyed the character. I will enjoy revisiting that world, at least temporarily. But I will say my last one, and Corey, I don't know if you know about this yet. There's a movie called Argyle which is another reason for you to get Apple TV, Justin. It's Henry Cavill as an action star. And he looks like he's got the same haircut as Arnold from like Red Heat. He's got the spiked hair. It's Matthew Vaughn. It's Henry Cavill. So, I mean, like, it looks fantastic. He gets amnesia and a bunch of stuff. It's been in the works for a while. I've been hearing about this. I think at one point it was like going to be either set in the 80s or he thought he was set in the 80s, like as an 80s action movie. But just Henry Cavill's amazing. So
looks incredible. He looks like that guy from
Google
the video game. Oh my gosh. There's a character in the video game, Final Fight or whatever, that looked just like this guy.
Yeah. So that's supposed to come out in February. It looks like it's direct to Apple TV. So shouldn't be too hard to get. Justin can watch that when he gets his free Apple TV subscription.
I absolutely will do it. You know, Cavill was great. He did a great spy movie. I can't even remember what it was called now. But it was set in the.
Sorry,
I know, but it was set in the 50s and 60s, and it was a remake.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. Yeah,
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
The adaptation
that movie
of the TV
was
show.
Incredible. I love that movie. So if he does these kind of movies, and then Mission Impossible, he's incredible, and then you get him in this kind of stuff, I absolutely will see that.
Hey, it looks like M. Bison from that Street Fighter movie.
Yes, Street Fighter. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. So I'm in. I'm all in on that. And I'm sure it's not going to be. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be great, but it looks like it's going to be fun. And sometimes that's all you want. It's just something fun.
Yeah,
that's true.
I got two, Craig, to wrap up for me, and then I'm done with movies.
Perfect. I was going to say final thoughts. So go ahead.
These are my nostalgia mentions. I got two nostalgia mentions simply for bringing back kind of the nostalgia, because I think the superhero trend is trending down a little bit, and so people are looking for other stories and movies. And the thing that seems to be trending up is pulling characters back to relive and a new story on an old character. So Beetlejuice 2, I'm looking forward to that. Tim Burton's coming back in and Michael Keaton's coming back in. I think I'm looking forward to that one. And then another one, remake, or I guess a make of the TV show Fall Guy, is coming out March next year.
Oh,
and
with our boy Gosling.
And I'm going to tell you, the guy directed by David Leitch, who's a stuntman who previously helmed John Wick, Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw. Those are like large names. So this guy,
Bullet Train too.
Yes, and he's a stuntman. So I think this is going to be, this whole premise is the 80s TV show of a stuntman who moonlights as a bounty hunter. So
is it set in the 80s?
Film adaptation of the 80s, but I don't know if it's going to be set in the 80s.
Probably not. That's a little too high concept. And
that might be too much. I think
there's no legit reason for that. But
no.
Yeah, I loved the Fall Guy as a kid.
Oh, that song alone was an epic song in the intro.
Lee Majors sings the theme song.
Oh, Fall. I thought you were talking about the game Fall Guys.
No.
See, this is a generational difference that's coming up.
It is.
You watch the theme song to the Fall Guy, and I think you'll fall in love with that show.
Yeah.
Heather Locklear was in it. Lee Majors. I can't remember.
I think
Doug Farr, who did a totally cheesy movie, Space Invaders, that I absolutely love.
Wednesday nights, I think that was on. That, and then Dukes of Hazzard would be on Fridays.
Oh, my gosh.
This is like 84, 85, Justin.
It's reaching back into the glory years, Justin.
Yeah.
So there you go, nostalgia picks.
There you go. Justin, you have any final thoughts on our lists or movies coming out?
No, like kind of. Well, I do. What Corey was saying, I feel like the superhero genre is dying down a little bit, which part of me feels sad about it because I love superheroes, I always have. But it is exciting to see Hollywood make way for some new concepts, new ideas, and just something in theaters kind of fresh and unique. It's exciting.
Well, and new takes on, even though, because people get tired of this, like, oh, why are they just remaking things? Like, can't you come up with new? They're coming up with a new adaptation or a story of a favorite character, which I think sometimes is better. It's a better spin on an older tale or character that was a great character, but the writing in the 80s was different than the writing.
Well, and I think it's comfortable too. Like with Wonka, we've already had 2 movies about that, but we like it as an audience, and it's like eating at our favorite restaurant. You just kind of want to go back and you want like a new take on it.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. I would just echo what you guys said already. I did see Blue Beetle, and
I didn't watch it. What do you think?
It's fine. It's in a lot of these movies. It's like had this movie came out 5 years ago, this movie probably would have been a pretty decent sized hit. the story is not original. It's hero's journey and borrows heavily from Ant-Man. If you watch it, there's a lot. You're like, hey, this is just like that thing in Ant-Man. The cast is good. The acting's good. The special effects are good. It's fun and it's fine, but I'm not excited about it. Right. So I felt bad for the people that made the film.
Is it a new bookend for the next DC projects, or is it the last bookend with Aquaman?
It's complicated because James Gunn said, I know, James Gunn is on record as saying that the character, and I'm assuming the actor portraying the character, will be in the DCU moving forward. But it's not the first DCU movie. The first DCU movie will be Superman Legacy, which I can't help but be excited for because I love Superman. But I'm also glad it's a little ways out, so I can have some time to just not be inundated with superhero movies for a while. So
that is complicated.
Well,
yeah,
you gotta.
I guess we'll see.
I agree with Justin. You got to kind of win me back a little bit.
There you go. So as we close, we just want to say thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. Email us at readingbetweenreels@gmail.com or use the SpeakPipe app on our website. If you enjoyed the show, please tell a friend and support us by writing a review on your favorite podcast catcher. Our next episode will be a review of Big Trouble in Little China. Send us an email or voicemail about your favorite moments from Big Trouble in Little China, and we'll share it on the next episode.